present you the issue of causes of domestic violence in Cyprus, and this was part of my thesis on my fourth year class. It was a research, and the reason I chose this is to negotiate the causes of violence in the Cypriot society, and also my own involvement in the circle of violence as a victim of violence. And I had some questions about this issue. Why are women abused in Cyprus? Is it their fault that they are being abused? Is it their socialization they were taught? Or the responsible agencies that prevent violence do not work properly and do not provide the required assistances? So the methodology I used was quantitative research. It was questionnaire and interviews. To achieve my aim, I used 20 women that were abused, and they were living in an abusive relationship. And I focused on the personal experience of their marriage, and from different towns of Cyprus, and the populations were ages between 28 and 65. Based on the revised law of Cyprus, 2000-2004, for the purpose of this law, violence means any act, omission, or contact which cause physical, sexual, and mental harm from one family member to another family member, and also includes sexual intercourse without the will and consent of the victim, as well as restriction of their own liberty. The World Health Organization defines violence as an intentional use of physical force or power, a threat or act from against itself to another person or a group or maybe a community, and increases the chances of injury, death, and psychological harm and delay in development or deprivation. According to the Convention of all forms of discrimination against women, violence against women is seen as violence exercised by a male perpetrator to a female victim. Not only this reflects unequal gender relation in our society, but also forms a formidable barrier to overcome inequality between women and men. There are different types of domestic violence. I don't know if you only know that only physical violence, but we have more types. One of the main categories is physical violence. It causes physical pain deliberately to another person, humiliation, and injury. And it includes slapping, shoving, shaking, kicking, throwing objects, and severe injuries that can send the victim to the hospital. We have also psychological violence. It's degrading behavior, humiliation, and severe physical damages. It includes rejection of the woman's value that she possesses as a woman, and the devaluation of her own intelligence. Sexual abuse makes the woman an object of sexual exploitation, and brings the victim to conduct intercourse without her will, causing her not only physical and psychological damages. Economic violence. Economic violence is to deprive her the right to work, be trained, educated, or even if he allows her to go to work, the money that she gets from the work, she has to give it to her husband. She's not allowed to have financial independence, and the reason is so she cannot escape this relationship, so she can be kept as a prisoner in a violent environment. The causes of domestic violence is learning of violence. And I mean a child growing up in this kind of environment. He sees violence or experiences violence, so he's being taught that this behavior or act is normal, is acceptable. So if he grows up, he will end up doing the same to his own family. Or if it's a girl, she will be